Hello and welcome to the show. While there are many great things to enjoy at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, one of my personal favourites is always the actual timed shootout. You know, there are plenty of demo runs and whatnot that go around the place. However, there is actually a full-on timed competition, and it's between all sorts of vehicles. There are GT cars, there are some cars you might not have seen of or heard of before running. In fact, even Billy Munger was driving his Formula 3 car up there against a GT4 Jaguar, against a classic prototype car, an F5000 car, a BMW DTM car. It is a really rather fascinating thing to watch. And there are some really interesting machines, and hell, there are some cars that, you know, near priceless, being taken up here at pretty damn high speeds. While I would love to have seen these Jags go for a full-on proper timed run, they were used more as demo cars. However, it was the 60 years of the British saloon car racing, so there is plenty of classic British machinery going for it elsewhere. It wasn't just, of course, the classic touring cars that were out. There were Super Tourers, there's an Alfa 155, the 850R. Sadly, I never saw the Mondeo actually running. I hinted to a couple ones, but some cars, you know, having more technical difficulties. The Volvo 850R, fantastic thing to see. Again, not quite in the time shootout. A lot of the modern BTCC cars, they have their own little tournament that goes on between a selection of those. The Rover makes, well, you've already heard, a absolutely ridiculous noise. And it's not just the British touring cars either. Two DTM cars were here, both a BMW and an Audi. I also never realised that DTM cars' doors, I mean, are not actually normal doors. They kind of just take the doors off to work on them. They do a fairly mighty wing. But yeah, I had no idea that the doors were kind of just like, I guess, little plates that came off the car. Quite entertaining watching people carry the doors around. It was also pretty nice after many years of seeing this Vauxhall consigned to a kind of static display to actually see the vehicle running. The NASCARs and the Euro NASCARs were out in force. Always nice to see these over in England. Very difficult elsewhere. The Euro NASCARs nowhere near as powerful, but still pretty interesting looking vehicles. As I say, interesting and different vehicles to see running. Of course, the full-on NASCARs were here, and you could never really discount Mike Skinner when he's got his mad truck. While slightly less than I've seen in previous years, there were various GT cars, from GT4s to this Maserati MC12 and the 911 GT3 Cup car. The RSR had a little bit of a crash before the shootout. Last year's winner, the Jaguar XJ12D, was back, and it was also going to be fighting against last year's second place, the Penske Chevrolet, although they were going to have some serious competition this time around. While perhaps not quite as mad in the wing department as we saw last year with the Time Attack and the Hill Climb cars, there were some of these in attendance as well. The Celica Pikes Peak, first time I've seen this car, I was very excited to see this one. I'd love to see the Tacoma 1 year as well, but it was, yeah, always going to be an interesting one. And the BMW Judd, the V8 powered car that I know about mostly from playing on Assetto Corsa and finding a mod for this vehicle. It's something that I fell in love with for its sheer madness, and another car that I was very excited to see run, to actually just see the car in person. There were some other Pikes Peak cars, an RS200. It was very weird seeing an RS200 without the kind of the front end is a bit weird. It's kind of got a massively tall, kind of, it was air dam at the back. It's a different looking RS200 to the normal sort. Doesn't quite match the decent wing on the old Audi GTO car alongside. But yeah, so that's a good amount of power in an all-wheel drive little RS200. Rally cars as well. It'd be the Escort here. This would go up in the Shootout as well. Again, another high power. Won't have the top speed, like the NASCAR trucks, or the NASCARs in general, but good acceleration. This year, though, perhaps the headline at times would be dominated by the electric vehicles. The Neo was here. I have to say, don't know very much about this car, other than it is stupidly fast. It is ridiculously, amazingly fast. Not a bad looking car as well, although I can't imagine it's the most dignified thing to get into. Just noticing the size that you'd have to kind of step in to get to that. Fairly minimalist in terms of the cabin as well, but that's a sizable gap to have to try and climb across. Not only did we have the Neo, we also had the Volkswagen, the I.D.R. Pikes Peak with its ginormous wing, fresh off of, well, shattering the Pikes Peak record. Volkswagen also did have a twin-engine 650 horsepower Golf. Sadly, I never got to see that one going, but it's a mad contraption alongside another, well, I'm not sure which is madder, to be honest. What I do know is that the I.D.R. is mighty fast. That will be it for a look at some of the fastest cars to run up the Festival of Speed's hill climb course. I will, in the description of this video, link to the full timed shootout if you want to give that a watch. I highly recommend it. It was a very spectacular thing. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I will let the cars play you out.